Hello, Pēda Latvijā. This is Clem from Barstool Sports. I'm also known as the Clem Report on Twitter. My name is Justin Clemenza. I've been working for Barstool Sports for a little more than a year and a half. The last 3 months I've been full-time. Before that I would just do some part-time work here and there. I write about anything New York sports related and comedy. We're a sports and comedy website at barstoolsports.com. And one of my main focuses is writing about the Knicks, and obviously I wrote a lot about Kristaps Porzingis in the last 6 months or so, from the time they drafted him to the immediate aftermath, obviously with all the booing and stuff like that, then to finding out how much he loved hip hop and Rihanna and Friday, the movie, and all that kind of stuff. And Kristaps became a pretty big star in New York pretty quickly. Everyone might have disliked the pick immediately afterwards, but we all fell in love with him even before his first NBA game, and now obviously the town is completely in love with him. I was sent to Latvia because we wanted to again learn about Kristaps Porzingis, his heritage, his background, all stuff like that, and I was reading an article. I don't know much about Latvia. Not many of my friends do either. So I started doing some research, and I had stumbled across an article by Tommy Beer. He's a Knicks writer, about Latvians who are watching Porzingis in Latvia. So one of the people highlighted was Gintz, and I said, "Hey, Gintz, I had never met him. I said, hey, would you mind if you could help me at all? I would really appreciate it. I don't know much about Latvia." And Gintz immediately was very thorough, said, yes, I could help you however you would like. To start with, we were looking for hotels and we didn't know where to stay. And he told us where were the good spots of Riga to stay and where were the not so good spots to stay, which was very important because, again, when you go to a new country, you want to make sure you stay in a good, safe place. And Gintz, as well as his father, who helped out as well, was very thorough in making sure we got a good spot, and it was a place that we absolutely loved, the Metropole in Old City. So I had reached out to Gintz, and I said, hey, I'm going to be flying out there from the 16th. We landed actually on the 17th until the 21st is when we left. So it was a very short trip, but we had a lot to get done. We wanted to interview the locals and hear some Porzingis stories and what they thought about Porzingis. We wanted to get some Latvian culture and learn about stuff like that. We were going to go to Liepāja, visit his hometown, again, talk to some more people, learn some more about his background, and just kind of see where everything took us. And I'll tell you, Gintz, I cannot stress this enough. Gintz was the best host and ambassador for a country that you could ever ask for. And I'm not saying that just because he's helped us out. I'm not saying that because I think he's a friend of mine now. I say that because he truly was the most helpful person I've ever encountered when dealing with basically anything. He would plan out stuff. So when we first got to Riga, my cameraman was sleeping after the flight, so him and his friend Emil took me around. We walked all around Old Riga. He took me to see all the scenes, the monuments, the castle, the everything that was around, the opera, the square, the market. I mean, everything. And he had such a wealth of knowledge. He knew so much about what he was talking about. If I had a question, he knew it immediately. It was unbelievable. If it was something he didn't know, he would try to figure out the language barrier, and he would figure out what we needed basically immediately. We were trying to look for places to film. He would say, hey, this would be a good place that, people will be if we want to interview people like that. Here is like good Latvian spots for food if you want to try food. These are places you shouldn't go. These are places you should go. He was just the best. He was just the best. And then once once the cameraman was awake, we would go around and we would walk the streets of Riga. And if we ever were talking to people and we needed someone to help with translation, he was right there to help us. He was our guide. He was the MVP of the trip. I cannot stress that enough. He was truly the MVP of the trip. Me and my cameraman, we were just there trying to learn some stuff. We wouldn't have gotten anything without Gintz. We went to the Latvian Basketball Federation. You know why we did? Because Gintz was able to call them up, set up a time with them, and they took us to their office, which was great, and we got to learn all about Latvian history and basketball. We got to see how they've planned stuff out. We got to just see the offices. We talked basketball. They know so much about basketball. It was incredible. And it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. It was outside of, where our hotel was. We would have never found it on our own. We would have not even been able to get into the taxi and get there on our own without Gintz. And he was our angel, I'm telling you. We also went to the hockey game at the Arena Riga, and Gintz was able to get us media credentials, so we were able to take pictures, take video. He triple checked to make sure we could do that because that was very important to us. They said no problem at all. He was able to get us in. I mean, just things that we wouldn't have been able to find out because we don't know enough about what was going on in Riga, let alone speaking the language and just just knowing what we were doing. And he was on point every single time. He took us to the Olympic Center and we trained and we played some basketball and stuff like that. Like unique experiences that I don't think many people who would visit Latvia from America would know to do. But if you have someone with you who lives in Latvia, it helps tremendously. What else did we do in Riga? We did so much in Riga. We went to Lido. That's another place that was great for us because it was very unique. You don't see an outdoor amusement park that's open in the winter in America like you do in Latvia. I think the Latvian people are just a tougher bunch than us Americans. Us Americans, it's too cold to go outside. We just sit inside all day. There was a bunch of Latvians out there just having a fun time. So Lido was very cool. We went to the zoo. Again, everywhere we went, Gintz knew a bunch of facts, a bunch of where all the animals were, all that kind of stuff. It was tremendous. The wealth of knowledge he had about all the surroundings and all the places we went. It was simply tremendous. Let's see, where else did we go after that in Riga? We also went to Liepāja, like I had said. We went to Liepāja on Saturday, and Riga and Gintz's dad drove us from Riga to Liepāja after working all day the night before, all night, 12 hours straight. He drove us 3 hours in the snow and ice, which just shows how great Latvians are. They're such kind people. They're such a happy people. They're fun. Once you get to talk to them and get to know them, they are very they're happy people. They enjoy life. He drove us all the way to Liepāja. It was in the snow. And once we got there, again, Gintz had met a girl, Christiana, that took us around and introduced us to, or showed us different places where Kristaps Porzingis, where he grew up, where he went to school, where he trained. We went to a basketball game. We went to the Rose Square. So we got to see the sights as well, all in Liepāja, which we loved. We went to the Baltic Sea. It was beautiful there. We learned how it was the city of wind and a lot of the history and background behind it too. And again, Gintz was there giving us all the knowledge and information that we needed to know that we wouldn't have known without him. This is stuff that, some stuff he knew from growing up, maybe from school or from his parents or from learning. Some stuff he learned before we went. He just read online or he called people up and asked them about it because, again, he's just a hard worker. He's the best. He's simply the best. I can honestly not say enough about him. I told him every day of the trip he was the MVP, and he truly was the MVP of the trip. I was not just saying that to be nice or be funny. He truly was the MVP of the trip. Our video and our entire project would have been much, much, much worse without him. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. And I mean, just again, we were able to get everything we wanted. We got the picture of the welcome to Liepāja sign. We got the Porzingis sign. This girl Christiana, she knew so much about Liepāja because that's where she grew up in. I don't think Gintz had ever been there before. Gintz's dad, who hadn't been there in about 40 years. So we wouldn't have known much about Liepāja without her. But thanks to Gintz getting her, again, we were saved. So after, again, Liepāja, lots of fun. We went to a basketball game. Liepāja played Ogre, and it was very cool. Again, we got in because we were media. We got in for free. Gintz made sure we could shoot pictures and any kind of video we would need. They said that was fine. That stuff we wouldn't have probably been able to think of or do if we had gone by ourselves. Because again, we don't know much about Latvia. It was not a very long trip, and we did not plan out the trip very far ahead of time. So we really didn't have time to really learn much before we went over. And Gintz was there every step of the way. I told him if he ever comes to the U.S., I owe him one. I will take him around New York. That's where I live. I live in New York. I know he's a Knicks fan and obviously Buffalo Sabres. Those are the two big teams now, thanks to the Latvians playing on those teams. And I'm in New York, so if Gintz ever comes over, I owe him one, and I will make sure I honestly don't think I will be able to do as good as he did for me, because what he did was simply tremendous. Simply tremendous. My favorite spots of Latvia, we liked Liepāja. I liked the beach and the park in Liepāja. The Rose Square was nice too. In Riga, old Riga, the monuments there were beautiful, with the castles and the bridges and the markets. I forgot the name of it, with the woman holding the 3 stars. I love that one. I think that's a beautiful monument. And the soldiers walking around. Again, the soldiers changed posts, and then they ended their day, and Gintz had all the information we needed to know about that. Everything around us, he kind of said, hey, these people are doing this. Oh, there's kids in the street smoking cigarettes. They're hiding from school right now. He told us all the little things that we would have never even noticed or thought of on our own, and he taught us all this stuff. Lido was a ton of fun. It was very unique. Again, seeing all this stuff in the snow, that was up there as well in terms of my favorite places. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Gintz. Anything you ever need, you let me know. We're Knicks brothers, and we're Knicks brothers forever. Thanks to Kristaps Porzingis, and all my Latvians out there. I love you. We're brothers and sisters, like I said. Thanks to Kristaps Porzingis, and thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I hope that the video comes out as great as the Latvian people were to us. Thank you.
Spied men patik un obene Pēda Latvijā. Porzingis!